Hi everyone, I'm Laura. Welcome back to my channel. I do have a few things to put away, but I also may want to use some of what I have out. So I had this all out because my plan was to bead along with silver silk, but you know, when Danielle and Jody were on with Nile, something happened. I'm not sure what. Well, kind of think I know what happened, but that's okay. I was watching the live and I, was a little late and I kind of said hi to everybody and, and then Jody came up with her where she was starting her necklace and I told her it was beautiful, and then he showed Danielle's. I think she was working on a bracelet, and I commented on Danielle's bracelet, and these actually, do I have the container right here? Yes, and I may want to use these. Actually, no, these are the beads I was going to use. So what I'm going to do, because I may use these, I'm going to set them right here. I have all this stuff out and I'll have to put it all away, but I may want to use them in today's project. So I'm going to gear a different way. But anyways, I thought Danielle's was pretty and I commented, and shortly after I commented, the screen started doing that circle thing. And that was it. It froze. Nothing would happen. And that was the end of it. I could not comment. I could not garnet. I couldn't comment. The chat wasn't moving. The screen wasn't moving. I went out, came back in, and the video still did that. I tried other silver silk videos and they did the same thing. I went to other just YouTube videos and they worked fine. And I could not comment at all. Nothing was happening. So that happened. But so anyways, yeah, I wasn't able to join the silver silk live, and now I can't watch any of the silver silk, so that's okay. That's okay. I think I'm going to use these garnets. Maybe. We'll see, because I don't have very many of these, and I have other ones. I just don't know where they are. I'm going to get things together because I want to work on... Do I want to do that right now, or do I want to make a quick, easy project? I'm kind of lost at what to do because it kind of threw me for a loop because this was supposed to be today's video that I was going to work on. Let me put this stuff away and get arranged for what I want to do next. Okay, so I'm back, and what I decided to do is I have my bead caps and everything all around me because this is going to be kind of a, those are crimp tubes, so I needed them out. Like, I hope I can get this to come together the way I mean it to, especially for beginners. Because when I first started, I was like, why isn't my bracelet fitting? Why is this bracelet too big? Why is this bracelet too small? I know what size my wrist is. It is a 7¼ wrist. Well, I don't know if my wrist is still 7¼ at this point. It is not. My wrist is now only about 6¾ I've lost so much weight. So that's a big difference. I have to redo a lot of my bracelets. I'll be something I'll do on my own time. And so as a beginner, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Am I measuring wrong? What in the world? Why? You know, I put on a bracelet, I'm happy with it, it's all finished, and I can't get it around. It's missing like that much. Or it's so big that it overlaps by that much. You know, I'm sure a lot of us have done that. And a lot of new people have done that. So what we're going to do today is explore why this happens and what you can do. I know a lot of people measure with a ruler, how long and everything. So we're going to be making quite a few bracelets today. And I'm going to kind of walk through with a lot of newbies. And we're going to just make bracelets and we're going to talk about it. And a lot of it has to do with the size of your beads. All of it has to do with the size of your beads, pretty much, or how many strands your bracelet is, or your beading material. If you're making, and I think I took them all and put them away because I was clearing off my desk. I have some bracelets. I was going to wear one, and it was really big. Like this. This one I didn't put away. Look at how much too big it is. It has to be redone. When I first did it, it was quite tight. Now it is really, really big. Like uncomfortably big. I like my bracelets to be quite snug. And this is one of the beads that changes color, as you can see. So I do want it against my skin because that's the magic of that bead. So this bracelet has to be taken apart and redone. It's got garnets and pretty beads on it. So I have to redo it. So that's kind of what brought me to this whole scenario of how to, for beginners, what to do, how to fix this, and all that. So we all have seed beads, and we've all made seed bead bracelets or tiny, tiny bracelets. Let me show you one of my favorite bracelets, if I didn't take it in, that I want to redo. This is from way back. Probably my second or third bargain bead box. As you can see, these are the same crystals that we just got this month. But smaller. These are a larger version. And these are garnets, 2mm garnets, and they fit nicely on the memory wire. So if you get 2mm beads, they do fit on memory wire, and they do fit on the 7-strand, I know for a fact. So I want to redo this, but on a regular strand, 3-strand bracelet, and add more garnet. So it was one of my favorite bracelets to wear. One of my first experimenting with getting the beads where they fit. And I did this watching one of Wendy's videos. So amazing. All right, so all you have to have is patience. You can, you know, little bracelets made with small tiny beads. You could pretty much say, okay, I need this many beads. Always keep note of your findings. Like I said, I'm not really set up to do this because I don't have all my findings handy. Well, they're handy, they're right here, but they're not in front of me where I actually need them. Okay, let's use the gold ones, not the silver ones, because you can see them better. You want to say, I'm using these findings. We're going to have 2 of these. And you want to know the measurement of your findings you're going to use. We're going to have a clasp. Put your clasp out there. And whatever you're going to use for your jump rings and that, which I'm beading, so I have everything beside me. We're going to be using a 6mm, and I don't think I have any of my 4mm in here. No, I do not. They are in a little baggie. Nope, those are not it. I am a little disorganized because I was very under the weather yesterday and pretty much was in bed. Okay, they were hiding behind my silver can. And so were my silver clasp. So you're going to need 2 of these. So you want to have all this measured. You want to know how much you're going to add to your, actually we'll only use 1 because 1 will be a clasp. So knowing how much you're going to put on your bracelet will give you an idea of how long you want to make this. You can either go by centimeters, which that is roughly 3.5 centimeters, or just a shade over 1.5 inch. One little line over 1.5 inch. That means if you're making a 7-inch bracelet, you want to end your beaded part. If you're using small beads like these, at just under 5.5 inches. So I'm going to leave these right here for our first bracelet. Now, that only depends on the size of your beads. Your beads will take up space on your wrist. The bigger the bead, the more space it's going to take and the more length you're going to need to add to your bracelet. I'm going to set this aside. This is a project I'll have to redo. Let's start with some smaller beads. I have some, I believe this is the tree agate. I don't remember which month. It would have been last fall. And then I have some moss agate. We are going to make a bracelet with different size beads. And it will be a strung bracelet. So, and then I want to add some of these deep red beads as some different coloring. Now, when you're using bigger beads, you either want bead caps or something to give them space to move, or your bracelet will not bend correctly. So I'm going to set them aside. All the links for Bargain Bead Box will be down below, and the links for BB Craft will also be down below because those are the products that I am using. Anything other than that would have been like Walmart or something like that. So we are going to build a bracelet, and I have all of my beading wire put away except for this red, which will be fine. So we're going to use it. I am going to I have some earrings I'm going to be making later. So if I have leftover, that is fine. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull off about I have heifer here. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull off about a 18-inch piece. That will give me 2 bracelets worth. And I have no clue why. I have my cutters sitting on a seat next to me, but I do. This way, what I cut off will be used for my next bracelet. We're going to be making a lot of bracelets. I'm going to show you the difference in the sizes of the bracelet when we put it on the ring mandrel compared to the size of the bracelet when you put it on your wrist or measure it, okay? So we're just going to string up a bracelet just like we would want, okay? I am going to use a clip about halfway down because we're not going to bead this whole strand. And I kind of want like a red on the end. Oh, you know what? I kind of want like something gold on the end. Do I want a gold? Wait, you know what? We got gold spacer beads. Didn't we? Let's use those. Let's get them out. I love these gold spacer beads from Bargain Bead Box, guys. These are 3.2 millimeter. We're just going to get a bunch of them out. Put them in one of these little spaces up here because we're going to use quite a few. All right, I'm going to get a couple out. I want one on each end. That would look so lovely. So while I bead, I'm just going to talk and you guys can, you know, relate or talk down in the comments or whatever. I like to put smaller beads towards the end of my bracelet because that's what's going to be under your wrist. You know, you don't want too clunky under your wrist. And then I think we'll go with one more gold. And I was also looking for some of my big, broad stones, and I couldn't find them. I might here in a little bit, and I think we're going to go with a couple more of these and do a big green. So, I was kind of sad that I didn't get to watch all of the silver silk, but that's okay. You know, I watch Jody's channel all the time, so I think we're going to get some more of these out. Whatever I do on one side, I like to do on the other. You can make asymmetrical if you want. And then I'm going to do like one more green, one more gold. I am going to kind of measure. So this kind of gives you an idea. I stuck my, here we go. So we don't have to haul the big one out. So we're at roughly 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go with one of these. And then a gold. I think I'm going to go with a green. I should have just put these gold ones in the middle. A gold. And I think we'll put a red. And I may have added way too much. You know that? Let's take that other one of those out. And then we're going to add this, a gold, a red, and a gold. Now we're going to measure this as though we're just going to measure our 5.5 inches. And as you can see, this comes to over comes about 3.5 inches. That will give me 7 inches there. So actually 3.25 right at the dead center there. So that is way too much. So we'll take that back off and do like we started with that, then this, and this. Let's see where that brings us. So that will bring us just under 3 at the dead center. So let's go ahead and go with that. And reverse what we had. And I'll pause you for this part. Okay, so I reversed everything and I held it up to it. It is equal. Now let's see how much I actually have beaded. And it is about 5 3/4 of an inch. That's not enough to really take anything off or add anything. And I think we're going to leave it because there will be a little bit of play where you adding the jump rings. It'll take up a little bit of space where the jump rings and things overlap. That'll be fine. And then what you think will be a 7-inch bracelet may not be a 7-inch bracelet. We'll find out. Remember, we're shooting for, it should come up with the measurements around 5 or 7 or just under a 7-inch bracelet. Let's go ahead and close this up. You're going to want your clamshell. We're going to put it on. And I want to get out a whole bunch of my because we're going to need a bunch of these. We're going to go through them, so I'm just going to get a bunch out. Whoops, that is a... I got the question, how do I choose whether I want to use clamshell, crimp tubes, or if I want to use something else. I have difficulties using the Wire Guardian satin. I have difficulty with textures. If something feels like it's sharp on my skin, I can't handle it. And I feel like the Wire Guardians feel sharp to me, so I do not use them if I can get out of it. So that's why you don't see me use a Wire Guardian very often. Not on bracelets. So we're going to put our crimp tube on close to the very end and squash it down. I'm also going to make sure that this Wire Guardian, or not Wire Guardian, this crimp tube is squashed down tight around the wire, because if there's that space, there's a chance that that's going to fail, and you don't want that crimp tube to pull off. So we're going to pull our clamshell up. We're going to give it a tug. It's on there tight, and then we're going to squash it. And then we're going to bring these together tight. You don't want to squash this too tight, and these sometimes can be a little finicky, but it looks good. And then I'm going to put that back over there out of the way. Bring this all the way down. And then, like I said, I will have plenty left for my next bracelet. less waste. And this side, we're going to open our clamshell up so we can get into it with the pliers. Up through the bottom, out through the mouth. And then I am going to trim this back so we have some to hold on to, but we don't need all of it. And that's that much less to waste. And that is a reasonable amount to toss away. I'm putting my crimp tube on, dropping it on, and then we are going to make sure that this is not tight. I'm going to put my thing right there, my clamp, and we're going to squeeze that crimp tube. We don't want our bracelet to be too tight. We don't want it poker straight. And then I am going to make sure that this crimp is nice and flattened around the wire. When you have bigger beads, you will notice that when you pull your bead strand straight, you may have a little bit of space. That's why I like the colored wire. But that is because when you do this, that space is gone. Your beads will take up that extra space. We're going to give it a tug test. It's tight. We're going to get rid of that extra wire. We're going to bring this closed. Give it a snug and then tighten that. Oops, we might want to snug it a little better. The crimp was turned a little bit sideways. Now we're going to add get that out of our way. Get my other pliers. We're going to add a jump ring to one end. Now each video will not show me doing every step. We're just going to do it with one video. Jump ring on this end, close it up. And then we're going to put the 4mm jump ring on the other end. These are from BB Craft and they are 18 karat gold plated. And then we're also going to, and this came from BB Craft, this kit, putting our lobster on, closing it. So there is the entire bracelet. We will measure this length. And I literally just had my measuring tape and I always set it down and then put something on top of it. And it measures. Let's lay my tape down so I can measure it properly. Get the bracelet on top at the 0. Just like I said, it should come out just a shade under the 7. 6 5/8 inches. But when we're done, we will put it on the mandrel. So that should fit me, right? It does not. Remember what I told you my wrist was? 6 3/4. It should come and meet at least, whether I can clasp it or not. It should have at least met, but it does not. Okay, now we're done with these beads. I'm going to put them in a little spot back here. And let's just make a small beaded bracelet. What should we use? Do I have small beads that are smaller than these? I don't know. I honestly don't think I brought over any small beads. I did. Let's go back to our November, December box. And let's pull out these and make a snow princess bracelet. How's that? I forgot I had these triangle beads. So let's do that. And let's get these out and make us a tiny little bracelet. And let's get the blue. Oh, which I just literally laid here because I knew I would use it. I am all discombobulated today because I was like, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need that. And I laid my blue here because I actually got my, put a thing on it so it wouldn't unravel. Haha. And I might make 2 bracelets that'll need blue, so let's go ahead and, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. So let's pull off enough to make 1 bracelet. So I'm going to cut off roughly 7.5, 8 inches. So there's what we're going to use. Get that over there with my other one. And we are going to make a bracelet using, I'm trying to think, these should be labradorite, these blue crystals, and some triangle beads. All very small. These are the biggest. They are, I believe, 5 by, either 6 by 4 or 5 by 4. I think they're 6 by 4, which all these are bigger than anything I have here. So let's go ahead. Again, we're going to use silver findings though. And I'll get all that out. There's that. There's that. And these are the same size as the ones I just had, so the measurements are going to be identical. I always get the same size findings because it makes making jewelry so much easier. And we'll get our, I like to have everything out when I start. And then I know I am covered. There's all of our findings. We are good to go. So I'm going to take some of these off. If I can get them off the thread. They're like, no, no, no. I am not knowing why they're not coming off. I guess I need to cut them in here and do this. There we go, guys. So, tiny beads. I do want to put, I want to use these. These are going to be gorgeous. These are Inside Color Rainbow Crystal Cream Lined Toho 11-0. If I can get them open. We're only going to use a couple. So we're going to get a couple of those out. I want them on the outside edge. Next to this crystal. It's, I believe it's labradorite. And then I'm going to put on, let's put 2 of these on. And let's go into one of these. Let's do 2 of those. And I'll show you what that looks like so far. And let's do a couple of triangle beads. or one triangle bead and go back and do these. I have more of all this right here next to me. Oh, I like that. Let's do some more of these. Find the little hole. One. It's funny, you see it and you try to put it on and it's like, nope, I'm jumping. They're like little jumping beans. Okay, I'm going to have to pick it up. Not playing games. There we go. I'm really liking that. So let's put 2 more of these on. And then let's go up. So this will be in the area of where the wrist, it comes up around the wrist. So I'm going to put 3 of the triangles. And then I think we'll go with a crystal. And let's measure this. I kind of want this area to be the center. So we have, I'm going the wrong direction here. So I'm at the center and I want to go one of these. A triangle, 2 triangles. One of these. And then we'll reverse this. So because you've watched me put findings on before, I will not walk you through all this. I'll bring you back when I have it done. Oh, wait, I was going to measure from the center out. So this will be the center. It's at 3 inches. Wait, let me get it right. Nope. Between those 2 beads would be the center. That's at 2.5. Whoops. Get it back there. Just over 2.5 inches. Almost. Let me get it scooted down. Get my thing there. So the center is at 2.5 inches. So that would make this 5. This should come out to be a 6.5 inch bracelet. So I do need a little bit more. 6.5 is a little small. So let's add 2 of these here. Okay, little guy. I can see where your center is. And then 2 triangles. I almost forgot to show you where the center of this bracelet was. That would have been bad. And then 2 of these. So I don't forget where my reverse is. All right, now let's start our measurement again. So the center triangle, whoops. Now how can that be less? Oh, I'm way up here. Oh my good Lord, I was trying to measure from the wrong spot. Is now above 3 inches. Well, not quite 3 inches. That's a little too much. So what I'll do is I will add an extra seed bead at the very end, these little seed beads, or we can add a seed bead right here. I think that'll be pretty. Let's add a seed bead. And then go to the triangle. I think that'll be pretty. Or maybe not. We'll put this extra seed bead at the end. That will give us the exact amount we need. So that's what I'll do. I'll finish beading this and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I have the second bracelet done. And I made sure that the beaded section of this bracelet was the same length as the beaded section of the first bracelet. So there's that. And I literally just laid the other bracelet down and now I'm like, where did I put it? But it's right here. So we're going to lay them both right there. And now I'm going to pick this up. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, so here we're going to do another bracelet. It's actually going to be 2. And what I'm going to be doing is it will be a bracelet that can be sold together. But we're going to make them in 2 ways. And I'm going to show you the difference that adding these beads to one changes the size of your bracelet. I know this is kind of, for us that have been beading for a while, this is kind of like no duh. But, you know, for beginners or younger people, this is pretty important to know and help them understand, you know, what to do and how to make their bracelets fit better and not be discouraged. Because how many of us, when we first started out, were really discouraged because we made this really cute bracelet, got it all finished, and it doesn't fit. And we made it just like other bracelets or something like that, you know. It's just, you know, I want everybody to be happy. So we're going to make this bracelet. And I know if you make it too little, you could always add an extra jump ring, or you can always add a piece of chain or something like that. But what if you don't have that option, or you made it in a way where you can't add that, or you've given it as a gift? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to add, I think we'll use the blue on this. I think it would be a great complementary color. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself another length of blue. Actually, I'm going to cut 2 lengths of blue off because we are going to make 2 of these. And why waste, right? So I'm getting off enough to make 2 bracelets. There we go. Put my clip back over my strand here. If it'll go back on. Okay. And I'm going to clip one end partially down the ways. And one is just going to be strong. And I'm not going to keep you for the whole thing. I'm not even sure where these came from. I believe they were a bargain bead box. Way long ago. Like I purchased them from Bead Box Bargains. So these I've had for a very long time. They're just a very pretty, like almost a crackle bead. And they're like, I don't know, like I think they're a 4mm. Just very pretty. And that blue, look at that. That looks so good in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm, again, going to bead up the same length. And I think we're going to use gold bindings. And again, you're going to want to put, because you want to make sure that these bend good, you kind of want to add a little spark. And what I think I want to use, because the size of these beads, again, these are from BB Craft. They are 2mm. I think I'm going to use those instead of the 3mm. I don't want anything big. So we're just going to get out a few. I'm not going to use a lot. Just a few. When I get done here, I'm going to have a bunch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like the number 7. Actually, there it is. And I'm going to put one on. And when I get to about where I want the center to be, I'll do something a little fancy towards what the center of the bracelet would be. So that's kind of what I'm going to do, and I will bring you back when I have about just under 5 3/4 of an inch done. Okay, so I have it strung, and I did take the bead off the very end and use just the 2 little extra ones on the end because it was really short. And again, I made sure that it fell just under that 5 3/4. So again, another bracelet. And if you're ever making bracelets and your bracelet is like, you either have to take a bead off or leave it on and have it be just a hair bit bigger, either depending on the size of your bead, leave the bead on. Unless it's a really big bead, then maybe use a jump ring or use an extra spacer bead or something fun to add to the end of it that might be like a fun little spacer. Like I have these little heart spacers, or you may have little spacers that look like this that could add interest to it, that's smaller, or a different bead that could add a little bit of a flair or an interest to it. You know, there's other ways, you know, if it's a big bead that you have to leave off. And again, I'm just kind of putting this video out to new beaders, beginner beaders. I know all of us that are watching probably already know all these little tricks and stuff. So now that we've done that bracelet and we want to make, and I tossed it on the floor, and now I gotta go grab it. We want to make a bracelet to go with it. Let me grab that because I need him. I literally just tossed it to the floor. Hold on. And I found one of my beads that fell down earlier that I need for one of my projects sitting up there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab my other piece of blue that I cut off my end. And I'm basically going to bead the same thing, but these flowers are going to be in the center, so I'm going to bead from the center. And I want one of these big gold ones in the center. And I'm thinking, well, I gotta put my flower on first. So I want my flower. I want the gold bead. I'm trying this because I'm curious. Do I just want the gold bead between the flowers? Do-do-do. Or do I want green? I know you have a hole in there. Gold. Green. Flower. Oh yeah, I kind of like that. And then I want to put a small gold one on each end of the flower. Like that. and then bead. And I'll just talk with you while I finish this one. The reason why I'm doing two different ones like this, because it will show, and I'm not going to actually close this one all the way. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to still have my clamps. I think I'll just use one clamp on this one. Some of these I just cannot find the hole quick enough. The reason why I'm showing this one is because even though I want these to be the same, and when I measure these, this one's going to fit a little different and a little smaller. And I want to show you that, and I might just show you ahead of time. Where is the hole in that bead? Because right now we are at, so there's my center. So yeah, we're pretty close to the end. I'm going to go ahead and put a gold bead. And it's amazing how just adding some kind of a focal on a bead, on a bracelet, will change how, even though you're using the same beads, it'll change how that bracelet's going to fit compared to the prior bracelet. And I might just go ahead and close it up and just add a second jump ring. There's 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll get some more of these little ones out. I'm going to need them anyways. And I know that when I first started making bracelets, I was like, I would get so frustrated, have to tear it apart, you know, and I'd be in a rush because I'd be getting ready to set up and I'd be like, I need to make, you know, more of this or more of that. Why isn't this, you know, why is it so big? Why is it so small? You know, oh my God, you know, what did I do wrong? And it really was frustrating to have to go through that. So I need one more bead. I think that would be, oh, I need to go to the center bead. Yeah, that would be about right. I'm going to clip this end. And I know it's right here. I just got to find it. Push it all the way down that way. And come this way and measure. So I am at my end. And to the center of that gold bead is just about 2 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bead the other way and I'll bring you back. Okay, so both of them are done except for I haven't put the findings on, but I wanted you to see that they do, they are the same length. So I'm going to put the findings on and we're going to get ready for the next bracelet, which is going to be a chunkier bracelet made with barrel beads, which gives you another whole different dimension on what kind of things you can see happening when you're making a bracelet. Okay, so I have a dilemma. I really wanted to use this, which if you don't already know, these will glow in the dark. Did you guys know these? These actually glow. These are from March Bargain Bead Box. But what I think I'm going to do is I am going to use these, I call them cabbages. They're lotuses. I'm putting them with these barrel beads. Barrel beads are very unique when you're making a bracelet because they do not bend well around the wrist. You want to give space between each bead as you create your bracelet. I'm using these at the bottom of my lotus bead, and no, I don't think that would look well. I think we'll stick with little bead caps or spacer beads because honestly they work the best because they're round and they will let these flow. You can use spacer beads. I wonder how these would look. Let me find the gold ones, but they're going to be chunky and they are not going to let the bead twist like they should. They're still going to be flat, but I think I'm going to put, for some interest, maybe every couple, we're going to put some of those between the spacer beads. So let's get some more of these 3mm out here because I think we only have a few over there. We'll just get a few more out because we're going to need some. We're going to make a beautiful bracelet. I'm not going to get up and get my brown. We're just going to do the red. It's fine. And my blue just went on the floor. That's fine. It can stay there. Actually, I have a piece of red already out. Let me put that back on the spool. Right here. And let's go ahead and show you the difference between this. So I'm going to bead from the center on this bracelet because I know what's going to be in the center. And I'm going to do some with some chunky round beads. And then I'm going to do the last bracelet with some big misformed beads, some big chunks. So we're almost done here. I'm going to use these flat, like cup spacer beads. And I'm putting them on so that it goes towards the bottom of the lotus, like that. And then I have my spacer bead. I'm going to clip this end so I don't lose him. I'm going to put the cup spacer again, and I want to make sure I only have one spacer because he feels thick, and put him here. So this will be the focal of my bracelet. And I am going to use, I don't want to use a big one, so I'm going to grab a tiny gold bead. And I don't know how this is going to look. Not so sure about that. Let's see if I have a small, what I need is a small red bead or something there. That's why I always have my little seed beads here, because I want something small and pretty to put at the top of that lotus, like maybe this. Let's take that gold off there. It just doesn't look right. All right, we're going to use some of these like fire polish seed beads. I want one on each lotus just to give it some color. And then we will put that small gold seed bead back on. And then we'll go to this green. And that looks absolutely amazing. I love it. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and go to maybe one of these. We'll do one of these spacers. And then another, these 3.5 millimeters. Let me get a bunch of them over here. We're going to need them. Like that. And go into a green. Like that. And then I think we'll just go with, now we're working on what goes around the wrist. And I think we'll go with one of these. And kind of, yeah, I don't like the way that looks. It leaves a space. So by itself, it's a no-go. Let's keep doing that. So I think this is probably where we're going to want to stop. Now, remember what I said about how much room this takes? Look, I'm not even halfway around my wrist. This is our halfway mark. We are already at 2.5 inches, and that's halfway. I would need to go quite a bit more. So we're going to keep beading. I would want one more big bead on here. And one more of these. There's my wrist. So that actually measures 3¼ roughly inches. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip that for the heck of it, because I don't know how much this is actually going to take. That still looks like a lot of space, guys, a lot of space. Yes, I have you filming. And I'm going to reverse what I have on here and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I have this beaded and we're going to leave it just like it is because I am going to close it off with you guys. I am going to take the two ends and I'm going to bring them up here and I'm going to clip them with this clothespin so I have my two things together. And we're going to set it right there. And then we're going to go into this one that I want to do here with some round beads because they are a little, what time we at? Oh, I can't see that. Oh, okay. A little bit different to work with than the barrel beads. And I want to use the red in these. I think the red will bring these out. These are not my Swarovski, guys. These are from Bargain Bead Box. I need to let go of my Swarovski and just use them. They're so beautiful, but people don't want to pay what they're worth. They don't care what they are. So in this instance, we are going to use some bead caps. And I know I brought them over. Like I said, I brought over a whole pile of stuff, and then I was laying stuff on the desk, and I kind of buried stuff. But I think those are going to be way too small. I had a brief moment of, should I use those? And these are the ones I want right here. These little filigree ones. And we're also going to be using some tiny spacer beads. So let's get some of these out because I think they're dainty and they will look lovely with these beads. I do want this. This is also from Bargain Bead Box. I've had it for quite some time. I just haven't used it. Now's the time to use it, right? Okay, so I have my tiny bead caps or spacer beads. I have these. Let's get started. I want to get off. My last one I'm doing is going to have blue. So let's get off a piece of bead stringing wire. I really need to get out better cutters because these are getting kind of, got a rough spot on them. There we go. And we're going to bead from the middle out. I do want to put bead caps on this little guy, and with filigree you want to make sure you're going through the right spot. See, that will cover that very nicely. Anything that you put on, filigree, bead cap, any bead cap, anything at all, is going to take up space on your bracelet. That's why I don't like to use a bead board. You know, those that have the little troughs that you use. I like that. I really do. And then we are going to get some of these out. Some bracelets you want to use a bigger spacer bead than others. I just don't think this is one that you want to use a really big one. And as you learn to bead, you kind of can figure out what looks better. And I think we're going to bead cap maybe each of these. We'll see as we get going. Yeah, I love the bead caps on these. This is gorgeous. I just really have not used these, and because they are big, you definitely want some kind of spacer between them. Bead caps are nice, but they don't let, when they're flat like this, they won't let your beads and bracelet move. So I think that's what I'll do. Very simple stringing. We're going to use bead caps and spacer beads for the whole bracelet. I like it. It's very shiny. Very much an Easter looking bracelet. Mother's Day. Always checking to make sure I'm going through the right spot. Remember to double check to make sure before you close up a bracelet that you've added all your bead caps, all your spacers. Last thing you want to do is when you're all done, look at your piece and realize, oh no, I forgot a bead cap, I put a bead cap on backwards, or forgot a spacer bead. And even those of us that have been beading for years, because a lot of people think I'm a new beader, and I'm not. I've been doing this for several years. Have made mistakes. I do live on a very small income, and I'm very frugal with my money. So when I do buy something, I have to have a reason to buy it, and I make a list and I check things off as I go. So I really like how that looks. Very pretty. I'm going to clip this end and work on the other way. And I'm going to finish, and when I bring you back, you'll see how this is coming out. So again, I have a very large bead bracelet, and I have just about 6 inches beaded. And I am going to leave this one right here on like this. And that is very beautiful. Very beautiful. Now I'm going to show you an instance where we're going to take these from Bargain Bead Box, and we're going to make a bracelet with it. I might use both. I might use just one. I kind of want to use both. This one's really big. I may not use him. I may just use that one right there. It depends on where it comes out at. Let me grab a small piece of leftover wire through here. It comes out there. How does this one situate? Where is you? There to there. So how would that situate on a wrist? Not very good, would it? That would be very uncomfortable. Let's use him as our focal. Maybe I'll get another one to go with it. So we have 2. I was thinking I had another big chunky one. Maybe not. That would be about as close as to that size as I have. Let's see how he situates. Yes, I think that would be okay. We'll use those 2 as our center. We're putting these crystals in between, just like so. So they're going to kind of be, oh, I don't know. I don't like it. I have a hard time with beads like this. And I know I'm not the only one that is like that. So I have a hard time creating with them. Maybe I'm just going to do 2 of those in the middle. Oh, that looks much better. That looks much better. It was the blue one throwing me off. So we're using these really big crystals, okay? And we're going to make a big bracelet. And it's going to be big. Those chunky things are going to really throw off the bracelet. And that's my whole goal. We're going to throw this thing off kilter. And it's just going to take us for a loop. I'm getting my blue, which is down underneath the table. Hold on a second. Okay, I have some pretty blue stringing wire, and we are going to string this. And you know what? We're going to need silver for this because that just is not going to look right with the with gold. Definitely not going to look right with gold. So let me find as many silver findings. I don't know what just fell between my... I have on shorts, and I felt something weird just slide between my legs, and I was like, please tell me that was not a spider just now. I will totally lose it. You will hear me scream clear across the room. Honest to God. I will flee and leave you guys sitting here recording. I will, honest to God, do that. And you guys will probably be sitting there laughing at me. Okay. I think I have all the silver taken out that I have. So we have to do with what I've got. Cross our fingers, we've got enough. Okay. So, man, did I cut enough? I hope so. If not, we'll have to get another piece. I'm going to just clip the very end. I'm going to put a piece of silver in the middle. And now we're going to put one of these like that. I'm going to put the other one on the other side. My whole goal is to disrupt this whole piece of jewelry. I am putting this one on, I think like this. Yes, like that. We're putting this one right up against it. And remember, we have to have something that lets this move. That's why we're using all of these silver spacers. So we're going to dupe. I want this pretty purple to help bring the purple through. And you can also use purple seed beads, anything purple, which I might do that. So let's hold off. I have purple right here. What would look good? Do I have dark enough purple? That will contrast. What have I got here? I do. I have something I think will look really cool with it. Let's see what happens if we put this rainbow one. Oh yeah, let's try that. I think that would look better than putting all that silver in there. I want the silver in the middle because I want that strength of that silver right there. But let's go put some of these along the rest of it. Let's see how that works. Take that off. Let's start stringing some of these. Oh, I like that. Absolutely love it. That's a different bead. I was like, I hope I didn't grab too many of those other beads out of there, and I did. So let's grab. I'm going to look for the thickness, not so many how many I put in there. Like some of these are really thick and some are skinny. And I think we'll stop there and put a silver on the end. And I will move the clip to the other end. I only have one clip at this point. Whoops. No, 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 no. There we go. All right, now we need to put this little guy on, far from little, like that. And then we did not put a silver on. And we use the silver. And then this guy, I used two skinny ones, so let's try to keep to the skinny ones here. 1, 2, and then we went 1, a bigger one of these, I have these in the other bead like this in the same container. So when I picked them out, I grabbed a bunch of the other beads. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we need a silver. Let's measure this chunky thing. So at this point, we need to add something. We definitely need to add something, but I want to see. Oh my gosh, look at how much space is left. That's a lot. I can go one more of each of these big beads. Let me find the right tray and get 2 more of those chunky beads. We have plenty of room. Let's take the metal off. There's 2 of those. You see how much space those big beads take up on our bracelets. It's amazing. And I learned so much watching Wendy. I'm going to switch, clip this end, remove that, pick up that big one right there, put him on, and then the metal spacer. And this measures way past the 6-inch mark. And remember, the rest of our bracelets all fall. I've been keeping them at just a hair under the 5 3/4. But this one, well, now he's way too big. So, well, wait a minute. I didn't hold him tight. If you're going to wrap around, make sure you hold your spaces. Well, he's still got room there. I think he's going to be perfect because I'm squeezing tight. So we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it just like that. I would rather him be a little loose because of these big beads than too tight. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close this up. And I'm going to clear this up and I'll bring you right back. Okay, so on these big chunky beads, you're going to have, when you put your clamshells on and you do your little circle thing, which, you know, I'm going to put some tools against them to hold them. When you go to do this and you pull them so that they're not going to be too tight, but you also don't want them to be, you know, too loose, but you don't want to have poker straight. When you go to straighten these, they are going to have a little bit of space because you have such big beads on these bracelets. So you're going to want to pull straight, but don't want your bracelet to be poker straight. Make it curl. And then we're going to do this. But you're going to notice when you go to straighten your bracelet, you will have a space where there will be stringing material showing, and that's perfectly fine. That's because you are dealing with huge beads. So you will have a little bit of color showing, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm back. I pretty much cleaned everything off. I'm going to bring you down just a little bit so you can get to see what I have here on the table. And all 3 are pretty much different, except for these 2. The biggest difference are the tulips that are in the middle. They are the same size, beaded wise, but they're going to fit just a little bit different because of how the tulips will be on your wrist. That sounds strange, but it does. It's a very slight difference, but they will fit different. And then we have this one here. I have all of these right here beaded to be the exact, just a shade under 5 3/4 of an inch, which, as we measured, when they're measured out on the tape, I wasn't going from my wrist because I've lost so much weight that I'm no longer a 7 1/4 inch wrist anymore. I'm a 6 3/4 inch. These measured just shy, if I can get my tape measure to stay put, of 7 inches like 7 5/8 of an inch, or 6 5/8 of an inch. So, but does that mean they will fit a 6 5/8 of an inch? No, they won't fit a 6 5/8 of an inch. You have to consider that you have to be able to clasp these. This one here measures 7.5 inches. Oh, I forgot to put my lobster clasp on one. I knew I was forgetting one, and I was like, what am I forgetting? I knew I needed another lobster clasp out. I had enough out, and then I dropped one. It fell on the floor. And then I was like, oh, I'll get it in a minute, and then I forgot it. I'm bad. But as I talk, I'll go ahead and get this done. Another thing you can do is if you're doing a bracelet and you realize, oh my gosh, it doesn't fit me, you can add either another lobster clasp, or yeah, you can add another lobster clasp to your lobster, or you can add another jump ring to your jump ring that you are clasping into, or you can put another small jump ring where your lobster clasp is. It makes it look like a small little chain, which is always pretty. Or just take your clasp off that your lobster is in and use a bigger one if you only need just a tiny bit. And mainly what a lot of people have problems is when they're making jewelry for other people. The person says, oh, I have a 7-inch wrist, and you make the jewelry and it doesn't fit them, and it's because of the bead size. You can make your own mandrel. All you need is a sort of stiff piece of paper, like a manila file, or something like that, or stiff, not cardboard, but a good stiff piece of paper. And you can cut it out, mark 7 inches, and then I have a gnat. Here we are. It's warm weather. Cut it out to like where you mark your 7 inches, and then cut it beyond that. And then when you roll it, tape it so that you have a 7-inch round, and you can do that with each size. And then you don't have to go through the expense. So this one here measures, oops, I still don't have this fastened down, guys. I'm so sorry. Just about 7. If I can catch him, he'll be dead. 7.25 inches, believe it or not, that pink one. And this one will probably be about around the same. Just so you have an idea. Just under 7.25. All right, so let's go ahead and see how they turn out on a ring mandrel. And you can buy these ring mandrels Hobby Lobby. You can buy them on Amazon, Temu, any place that you can buy beading supplies. You can usually buy them. I have not seen them at Walmart. So again, like I said, these should fit. These measured just under 7 inches. Let's clasp this. This, I will tell you, will not fit my wrist. Or maybe it will. Maybe this one will. This one's got small beads, so this one might fit me. Yes, this one I can clasp. So this one will fit a 6 3/4 inch wrist. Something doesn't add up here. Something's not adding up in my book. So if I put this around at 6 3/4 inches, top of this line is 7 inches. Top of this line should be 6 3/4. Top of that line I'm making sure I'm going all the way around it. That is not 6 3/4. That's a little off. Might be because there's a hump there. Okay. It says it's only 6 1/4, not even 6 1/2. You know what? I know what the size of my wrist is, guys. We just measured my wrist. We just measured my wrist. Get it over. Well, my wrist is actually, get it where I would wear it. Yes, my wrist is 6 3/4. Okay, well, that just happened. Y'all just seen that, right? I'm pausing you. Let's just go with the fact that we know that my wrist is 6 3/4, and let's just ignore that. Okay, so as I was trying to teach you guys, measure your ring mandrels. You've seen how the other one fits. This one is not as tight. I don't know if this is going to come through good. Let me do it this way, guys. This is going to be very difficult. Scooch it where the other one was. And as you can see, I would not be able to clasp this because it's only just meeting. And I'm pinching myself to do this. So those two beads like this that are thicker and bigger made a difference. This bracelet, which is also made with bigger beads, will do the same. I would not be able to fasten that. I can guarantee you this one, which is, we've seen the measurements. Get it around my wrist. I'm sorry, I wanted to use the mandrel. I would not be able to fasten that. I am squeezing. If I wanted to pinch myself and fasten that, I could, but that would be uncomfortable. And look at how much it's dug into me. So I did make these 3 bigger. And they should have fit. You know, by measurements, a 7 1/4, 7 1/2 inch wrist. And I am 6 3/4. As you can see, guys, that's that one. I'm trying. I'm sorry. I really wanted to use the ring mandrel. So when you get it, as you can see, this one here is the same as that last one, which they measured the same when I measured them with the tape measure. This one I made 7.5 inches. It is chunky. You want to make sure that these beads lay flat against your wrist when you put this on because they can be sharp. And it is 7.5 inches, and a 7.5 inch this big, that is really biting into me. It is very uncomfortable, but I could squeeze it and make it fasten. But even once it fastens, look at how tight it is. Yeah, that would be uncomfortable. So I would say these would all fit like a 6.5 inch wrist. 6.5 inch wrist. Yeah, I would say these would all be great for a 6.5 to 6 3/4 inch wrist. So when you're making jewelry, and you're starting out, get a good bead mandrel and check the size of your bead mandrel, or make your own. There's many mandrels out there to purchase for bracelets. And remember, size of your beads do matter. And I thank you guys for hanging out with me for this really long video. I cannot edit that out, nor would I. Because it's important to know that, you know, there are things to watch for. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope this helps somebody. And I appreciate all of you for watching. Bye, everybody.